Well, it's another day, another Monday. I've been working on my studio, the lighting and everything, trying to work on some accent lighting. I've been testing out two different streaming programs or software. One of them is Streamyard. That's what I'm recording on right now. And the other one is Riverside. And Riverside seems to be putting out a better picture as far as clarity. StreamYard has a bit of a darker look to it, almost like I'm filming in 1080p, but it won't allow me to do 4K for some reason. My camera is a 4K camera. Could be something to do with the software itself, or it might be that when you directly try to stream from this camera, that it maybe 1080 is the maximum that it can do. I like both software. StreamYard is $49, which is pretty pricey. Riverside's a little bit cheaper, but I found that I had to do a lot more work with Riverside to get it pushed up to YouTube. I know it'll go straight to Spotify and on your web podcast, but I feel like it took me a lot longer to get it going. It seems that StreamYard does have a little bit better upload, and going live with Facebook and YouTube it actually works really well. I'm probably going to settle on StreamYard, even though it is a little bit more expensive. I need to work on getting me some better lighting. This is, as you can see around my face, I have on this side, I have a little bit more dark area, which I'm trying to light up. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 lights shining on me right now, which should really make my face pop, but it could be the hat. Maybe the hat's causing a little bit of a shadow. I'm looking for some light boxes or spot boxes that are coming in. I should have those, and I'm going to have one directly over my head out of view of the camera. Now, I've been watching some amazing content creators trying to figure out, where's my lane? What do I want to be in? And what I've noticed is their studio setups are just immaculate. I mean, they're the best I've ever seen, and they're not using too much different equipment than what I'm doing. I'm using a pretty nice camera. I do have a Sony A4 that I will be transitioning to, but I have it set up for the gimbal right now, and I'm going to be doing some videoing this week, and I don't want to have to reset up the gimbal to be able to do that. I'm going to try to roll some of that film on my YouTube channel this week. It may be Saturday before I get to it. We've been real busy at work, so my real job kind of takes precedent right now. I mean, that's what pays the bills for me. I do have a lot of stage lighting set up behind me that I use, or I will be using for live events. I got a lot of DJ equipment that I could use if someone wanted to hire me out as a DJ, but I'm a musician, so it's not what I really want to do, but I will if the event asks for it. And also with the lighting, I've got lasers and other things I've got stored in another room right now. I took all this down because it had gotten so crowded in here. I couldn't do so. That's something you need to keep in mind when you're building a studio. Now, I am a rookie, but I have done so much research, so much product research for sure, and so many, watching so many different YouTube channels. I mean, there's some amazing content creators out there, and, if I can just get my video to be a little bit clearer, I'll be a lot happier. It's a little muddy for my taste. I like the brighter. I know that if I don't stream directly into my computer, I get really good video. So I may, and then I use DaVinci to process that. So it seems to be doing better when I do it direct to the camera. And I'm going to do some testing too with the Sony A4 with the what I'm using right now is a Sony EV10. I'm gonna do some recording on it direct without going straight into the streaming like I'm doing right now. I'm gonna use my Nikon D850 for some video to see if I could create good, at least B-roll stuff for it. The talking head stuff I'm doing right now, it's fair. I won't give it an A plus. I'll give it a C minus right now as far as picture quality. But audio, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I think I could do a little bit better with it, especially if I ran it through with the XLR instead of going directly into my computer. Now I am working with a CLX gaming computer that I had built. It's doing a phenomenal job. It's probably one of the fastest processors I've ever had. I've ditched the Mac. I'm getting away from Apple products. Probably still use the iPhone because it's still the better phone of the ones I've been looking at. And I'm not a Droid guy, so I'm so used to Apple, especially when it comes to music and doing the things that I do with music. And it does create pretty good video. I mean, I've videoed some live events and come home and looked at it, and it does a really good job. I just hate the Apple people. I just, I know that's probably sacrilegious in the world of content creation to talk about Apple products, but I'm using a Windows unit now, and it's got a Intel i7 processor in it. I'm using a video graphics card, which when I'm using Lightroom, I'm not sure it makes that big of a difference, but it sure does help as far as looking at the screens. I've got a dual screen, two 27-inch gaming monitors that seem to be producing pretty good color. I'm going to try and use there's another software that I know I use Adobe Lightroom too for some things, but I'm starting using it for a little bit more of overlays and things. I've been seeing some really great sporting pictures that people do where they put these incredible backgrounds, whether it's an American flag or a lightning bolt or something like that in the background, and man, it just looks awesome. And I don't see why I can't do that. I'm pretty technically sound as far as when it comes to knowing how to do things, and if I don't know it, I can figure it out. I usually sometimes it takes it takes hours, but most of the time I can figure it out within an hour of hard research. With the content creators we have now that's actually doing tutorials on things, man, you can pop that out in just a second. So I appreciate all those content creators, because I thought this was going to be easy. I thought I was going to be able to just plug in a microphone, plug up a camera, and go to town. Well, what I found is my first 20 recordings sucked. I mean, they were absolutely the worst. And you find yourself critiquing the way you talk. And I'm still doing it a little bit in this video, but in between words, sometimes I use uhs and things like that, or and it takes away from the video. So I'm working really hard and trying to keep a fluid. See, I just did it again. Trying to do a fluid voice instead of having those pauses and it's usually when I'm thinking about what I'm going to say next. Normally, what I have in my head rolls right out. I mean, I don't usually have any issues with trying to figure out how to make it roll. I was a radio DJ. I was an intern. I can't call myself a radio DJ, but I did have my FCC license, and I worked my senior year as an intern at a local radio station, and it was on a Friday night when everybody was doing football. I had a pretty good following, and my voice is not bad. It's got a good rich tone to it. It's not as good as it used to be. I have these scars under here where they opened me up pretty good, and went into my carotids. I've had some health issues, but after I first had this done, I was my vocal cords were damaged. So I ordered an acoustic guitar. This has been back in 2011, I believe it was. And I ordered me an acoustic guitar because I wanted I'm an electric guy. I've been playing, I played bands forever. But got that acoustic guitar, got me a microphone, a small all-in-one PA system, and I started singing. And what I noticed was my voice got better and stronger as I was singing, and it was like therapy. It was like like when you're working out and you do a small weight at first. Well, that's kind of what I did, and then I got better and better and better, and now I'm playing out, and I play a 4th of July show every year, which is man, that's the highlight of my year. We got a good bunch of people that get together, and we do a little festival style on a local lake at a campground, and people bring their lawn chairs up, and there's a field out in front, and we usually do a pretty good job. I know that we tend to, we can have anywhere from 30 to 100 people there. It's not, it's nothing huge, but it's fun, and everybody's there for the music. It's not like when you go play at a wedding or you play somewhere and nobody just really cares about you. You're kind of feel in the background. So, you don't get a lot of applause or any feedback from the audience. But when you play this show, everybody's there to hear the music. And it's amazing how many people sitting in the audience are actually musicians. And, we have people who may do a track here and there and, sing kind of a karaoke format, but man, they knock it out of the park. And it's amazing when you get so many people together, what a bond you create. We've been doing this for years, and I hope we continue it. I'm getting a little bit older now, and the guys that are the main group, they're all young. They're in their 20s, but man, they treat me great, man. They treat me like I'm somebody. They call me the king sometimes, and I know that's very overrated. I can carry a tune. I can play my guitar, and one thing I gotta learn to do is slow down, because I find myself. I went back to a food truck festival we did back here. We did back in September during football season, and I noticed that, man, every song I played, the timing was way too fast. I mean, it's almost like I wanted to get through the song as fast as I could. So what I've been working on here in the last probably 5 months is I've been working on, rhythm, how to keep that song, put the feeling into the song, because when you're playing so fast and you're singing so fast, you miss opportunities to really enunciate a word or try to make the audience feel what you're singing. And even though I do mostly covers, the thing that I want to say is that every song I do has a meaning for me. It's like I want them to feel what I'm feeling. And I went through a period where I'm a single guy. I'm older, and I spend a lot of time alone. And I've had some really amazing women in my life, and they never ended up good. I lost one that I'll never get over. Everybody has that one that you lose her and you realize that your life's not the same. It's like I'm half a man now. Thought about writing a song about it, because if I can put that into words, man, I got a hit. I'm never going to be a superstar. I'm never going to be the guy that makes it Nashville or anything like that. I'm a Christian, and I played in the praise band for a while, and that didn't turn out too good. The music minister, young girl, graduated from Lee College, had had a bit of an attitude, and she talked down to the older people in the group, and I called her out on it, and I ended up leaving. I actually left on my own accord. I just packed my stuff up and left, and nobody tried to retain me at this church. They don't care. I mean, that's why the church is dying. That's why there's nobody in this. That's when I first started going to that church, there was at least 200 people in there. And by the time I left, there was probably 50, 60 people maybe remaining. And that's not by accident. There's something wrong. And a lot of it has to do with the music they play. One of my favorite songs, and I think everybody loved it. You can't play it every week though. You have to change up. But Honey in the Rock, man, it's I think her name's Brooke something, and that song just means so much to me. Talking about manna and honey, and I read a story about how there was honey in a rock when God was raining down manna. People would dip the manna into the honey, and man, that sounds good right this moment. I'm a little bit hungry, but it's not that we. I don't know what it was about the leadership of the church, but they were real cliquish, and the average person that was sitting in the audience, I mean, there was a few young people, but very few. Most of everybody was retirement age. You got to reload. I mean, I love those people. Those people were great. I have nothing against those people, but you got to bring in some fresh people. You got to bring in some youngsters. You got to bring in people with kids so you can build a good youth program. I mean, I got great ideas that could help that church grow. It was just a little bit too much attitude when it came to the music. When you're playing, I could feel the Lord, working through me, and there was times I sounded amazing, a lot better than I should sound. And it was all because of God, but just something about the arrangements and how the guitar players we were kind of pushed to the back. They didn't want to see us, we're a couple of old guys. And I brought a friend to this church twice just to get her opinion on what she thought, and she pretty much felt the same way I did. Preacher was very just not that good. He was new. He's 60-something years old. It's just his first church. And, it's hard to find preachers these days. And, I hear from the Lord sometimes, and I was trying to tell him something the Lord had spoke to me about, and he didn't want to hear it. They don't want you to hear from the Lord because they're afraid that you might know something that they don't want you to know, I think. I mean, what do you got to hide? If you're a man of God, you got nothing to hide. I mean, we all are supposed to just lay it all out in front of God, and sometimes that's something that preachers are. They're worried. They're worried that you're gonna call them out on something. I mean, I was not gonna do that. God, when God told me something, and He told me I want you to share this, I would do it. It's something that's special to me, and. I've not always heard from the Lord. I've been a Christian all my life, and I didn't really know how to listen for the Lord. And a lot of times I probably heard from Him, didn't realize it was Him. It was probably something that was, it might be a thought. I thought some of my thoughts were mine, but it didn't have my voice. It's like God said, "You'll know my voice, and that my sheep will know my voice." And I started realizing that. Hey, God's really speaking to me. He's telling me this and that. I mean, I'd have thoughts and I'd have words I'd never heard of. So, anyway, I'm going to end that right there because I meant for this to be a Streamyard Riverside review. Turned it into something else. But anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. Keep making content, and I'm going to keep watching you guys. I'm stalking everybody who does really good content. I don't have the looks that you guys have, but It's not about the looks. It's about doing good content, and a lot of time it's about the lighting. If you can get the lighting right, it's that's half the battle right there. So as I always say, God loves y'all.